Good morning, everyone. Nice to see all of you at today's special service on such a wonderful day. Nice to see all of you both in attendance in person and on our Zoom YouTube channel. So thank you for joining us for our service as we commemorate the lives of Lady Eshinni, and who is the wife of Shinran Shonin, and their daughter Kakushinni, who was their youngest daughter. These women played a pivotal role in our Jodo Shinshu tradition, supporting Shinran, helping him expand the Jodo Shinshu teaching in Japan, and also preserving his teachings in his memory after he passed away. Today's service is being officiated by Reverend Mary Beth Hokai Smitty Smith, with assistance from Reverend, I think that has a good sound to it, Reverend Sharon Sasaki. Our guest speaker today is Reverend Diana Thompson, Kaikyoshi minister from the Tri-State Denver Buddhist Temple in Denver, Colorado. At this time, we'd like to have fruit and floral offering by the Dharma School pre-K through second grade class. Thank you, girls. Great job. I forgot to mention that Reverend Diana, she's a product of the Tri-State Temple, having grown up through the Dharma School and YBA program. So she's spent her life growing up with the temple in Colorado. But welcome to San Diego, Sensei, and we're excited to have you join us this weekend with sharing the Dharma, and we hope you're enjoying the warm weather. Okay, we will continue with this morning's service with a chanting of Sambujo, and that can be found on page 21 of the service book, and that will be followed by Hyo Byakumon, the intention of the service, and then chanting the Jeju Seiga on page 35.
Ni San Ge Please join me in Gasho. Today we gather to remember Eshinni-sama and Kakushinni-sama, the wife and youngest daughter of Shinran Shonin. Because these two women took on roles much greater than the simple labels of wife and daughter might convey, we are able to gather here today as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. While Shinran is considered to be the founder of the true Pure Land School, it was these two women who were truly at the heart of Shin Buddhism's foundation. As a landowner, Eshinni's support was integral in enabling Shinran Shonin to not only survive exile from Kyoto, but to also raise a family and pursue his life's mission of spreading the Nembutsu teaching. Kakushinni not only cared for her elderly father during his final years, but also established the physical foundation of the Hanganji on land which was deeded to her. As a wife, Eshinni gave Shinran Shonin her complete dedication and support so his teachings could be shared. And as a daughter, Kakushinni established the temple and the center from which Shinran's teachings have been transmitted for centuries. We owe a debt of gratitude to Eshinni-sama and Kakushinni-sama, for without them, we would likely have never encountered the Nembutsu teachings in our lifetimes. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandab, 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 Namandab. Chosegan Ishimujodo Shigan Fumanzok Sefujo Shogak Gao Muryodoko Fuidai Seshu Fusai Shobingu Sefujo Shogak Gashi Jobundo Myosho Chojipo Kukyo Mishomon Sefujo Shogak Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Teninshi Jinriki Endaiko Fusho Musaido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Hichi Egen Meshi Konmo An Heisoku Shoakudo Tsudaten Zen Shumon Kosojo Manzo Iyo Rojipo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko Onpugen Ishukai Hozo Kosei Kudoku Ho Jo Dai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai But Gusoku Shutoku Hon Gan Eshinjo Man Toku Isangai O Nyobuten Mugechi Tsudaten Mi Husho Gangaku Evrik Toshi Sai Shoson Shiganya Koka Daisen no Kando Hoku Shotenin Tochin Myoke Namandabu 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 しくどくよどせいさいどほんぼだいしんおじょあんらこYasho Namanda 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 Namanda
Thank you. At this time, we'll have incense offering by the various representatives, starting with Dharma School staff, Angela Castillo. Dharma School students, Flynn Cheeks. Sangha teens, Kobe Kawahara. Junior YBA, Juliana Cruz. The Buddhist Women's Association, Kelly Tamaya. Taiko Laura Yoshida. Komon, this is a former temple president, Ken Mudoka. And representing the Buddhist temple, Kurt Yasuhara. Thank you. Today we're very privileged to have Reverend Diana Thompson as our guest speaker for the Lady Eshinni Lady Kakushinni service. And before I invite Reverend Thompson to speak to the Dharma School, I have a little background on her. Diana Sensa said that she and her mother began attending the Tri-State Temple Dharma School program when Diana was 8 years old. And Sensei, she advanced through the Dharma School and the Junior YBA programs. Now this is for Dharma School students now. You know, you students have a lot of wonderful opportunities here at the temple to participate in activities. You know, for example, I think the 8 through 13-year-olds, you participate in going to LABCC camp to learn a lot, make new friends. And then Junior YBA, you do the same. You know, it's you meet new friends at different temples and make new friends and so forth. Well, for Reverend Diana, she had similar opportunities in Denver. They have a program at the Tri-State Temple called the Sunshine Tour, and this is for high school students. And their opportunity is to spend 1 week traveling around and visiting various temples throughout the Buddhist churches of America. And Reverend Thompson did this when she was in part of the Junior YBA in Denver. And this was such a meaningful activity for Sensei that it helped her expand her spiritual awareness. Now, Sensei, she helps coordinate the Sunshine Tour for the Denver youth, and they make this the visits once every 4 years. And so she has accompanied the group to visits in San Diego in 2019 and 2023. Also, when she's not doing her being a sensei, Reverend Diana enjoys watching baseball. She said that she and her father attend Colorado Rockies games. I'm sorry to hear that they didn't do so good this year, Sensei. But she says that despite the Rockies not playing well, she enjoys her time with her father. She calls it daughter-father time, so she can spend time with her father at these baseball games. So now I'd like to invite Reverend Thompson to share her message to the Dharma School students. Sensei?
Okay, good morning. I have a book for you today, so I'd like to invite the kiddos to come a little bit closer so you can see the pictures. And I have no idea what happened. I'm scheduled to speak all weekend here in San Diego and in Vista, and lost my voice yesterday morning. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, don't know what happened there. For those of you who do know me, you know I'm a little loud and boisterous, so maybe I was just too exuberant for Southern California. They needed to tamp me down. So the book that I have for you today is called The Rabbit Listened. One day, Taylor decided to build something. Something new, something special, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Cluck, cluck, what a shame. I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Rah, how horrible. I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Rah, rah. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. Trumpara, I can fix that. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena, hee, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, gulp, let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo, what a mess, let's throw it all away. And the snake, let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually they all left until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide and throw everything away and to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing." Now, I'm sure that you all know when we're here at Temple, we talk about something called compassion. Compassion and kindness. And compassion can come in many different forms. Now, as we saw here in the book, all of the animals came because they were trying to help Taylor. They were trying to help him because he was so disappointed that his building fell down. But ultimately, what Taylor needed was somebody to listen. And the rabbit came and let him get angry, let him get frustrated, let him do all of the emotions, and eventually Taylor felt better. Now, listening for us is very, very important, and it is part of how we show compassion. Sometimes people don't need us to fix things for us. They just need us to hear them. Now today, as you know, we are celebrating Eshinni and Kakushinni, who are the wife and daughter of Shinran Shonin. And they did lots of listening. Throughout their lives and their times with the Dharma, they listened to and heard the Dharma, and this allowed them to learn and therefore to listen to and help others along their path. So when we come together at the temple, and especially when we leave the temple, we need to remember to be kind and compassionate. We come here to listen to the Dharma, we learn from the Dharma, and then we can take all of that out into the world. So sometimes if your friends are having a hard time, if your family is having a hard time, remember to listen to them. To listen so that we can learn about other people and understand them. To listen so that other people will understand that we are very kind and compassionate. So thank you guys for coming this morning. I'm sorry that a frog jumped in my throat. So I know I sound awful. I feel fine, but I sound terrible. But it's nice to see all of your little smiling faces. I love it the most. So please join me in Gasho. Namo Amitabha.
Namo.
Namo Amitabha.
Namo.
Namo Amitabha.
Namo. Namanda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for that wonderful story on the rabbit. The rabbit listened. Okay, next, will everyone please rise for the Gatha Seya, and that can be found on page 140 of the service book. Please remain standing for the recitation of our pledge, be found on the back cover of the service book. Our pledge is written by Shinran Shonin. I'm sorry, Senyo Shonin, our current Gomonchu of our Jodo Shinshu tradition. Our pledge: breaking out of our shell, I will share. Gasho. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Namo Amidabs. Thank you. You may be seated. Are there any announcements at this time?
Just quickly, I want to thank everyone who brought stuffed animals for the interfaith collection. Pastor John stopped by Wednesday and he picked up already 36 of the stuffies. But today, some more joined in. They were really anxious to go and share happiness with a lot of the kids in need. Pastor John said not only does he collect now for Ronald McDonald's, UCSD Health, but for hospitals all through San Diego County. And he also said some of the dolls they collect go to first responders to help when there's a crisis. So thank you very much for your generosity.
Hi, I have a couple announcements. So the Junior YBA is collecting non-perishable food for the U-Pack food drive. We are collecting from now through November 23rd in a box in the dining room. The Dharma School Halloween party is next Saturday, October 25th. This will be a potluck, so we'll provide the main dish, but please bring side dishes, salad, or dessert. The Junior YBA will be leading games, and Sangha teens will be leading the craft for the kids. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, we will be running the winter clothing donation drive. We will be partnering with Streets of Hope, an organization with a vision to give hope to those who live on the streets of San Diego. We will be collecting gently used warm clothing items such as jackets, sweaters, sweatshirts, thick socks, etc. Please drop off your donations here at our temple. We will have a box outside of the office downstairs, and we will be running this donation drive through November 30th. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I have a report for the 1,000 cranes, origami cranes. So we have 226 so far that are totally folded, and there are 636 that are out in bags, and we have a minimum of 38 to be folded on November 16th. So keep folding. You guys are doing great, and we'll get to 1,000 plus one. You know, that Japanese thing. So keep folding. And for you, we're on the 16th, we're going to focus on folks that haven't folded yet. And so whoever, you know, if you just fold one, we want as much participation as possible. So Dharma School, whoever hasn't folded one yet, please come after Dharma School. And adults come after adult service. Thank you.
Hi, it's Margot, your friendly brittle lady. I have to make another announcement about brittle. There's order forms down in the office, and there's a little box there where you can put your order form in. And so don't eat all the Halloween candy and save yourself for the brittle sale, which will be handing out your orders on November 9th, which is our Taikyo service. And I have one request. If you have any bags, not necessarily PetSmart bags, unless you want to go buy your pet some cat food or dog food, we need some of these bags that have a handle on it so we can put the orders in here. So if you could just bring those in and just leave them in the office, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Following Margot, I hope this doesn't make me your bunny buddy, but John McAlpine, I'm back again. Thank you all for your interest and enthusiasm about Bunny Hana and Mocha. We haven't made any final decisions. They're very adorable, and so I was talking, or letting the bunnies know that they're still up for adoption. And Bunny Hana has graciously agreed to make an appearance at the luncheon, so you can actually feed some cilantro and get to know them, get to know him, and personally acquaint yourself so that you'd be enchanted with this little bunny. He's spayed or neutered, vaccinated, so is Mocha, and they should go as a pair, and they're very compatible, and you can test for hypoallergenic, and can allay all of your concerns so that they can find that wonderful forever home. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to give a report. Yesterday, the Dharma School participated in Feeding San Diego. And I don't think many people are really familiar with what Feeding San Diego is. It's a charity that takes soon-to-be old food that grocery stores, Trader Joe's, Starbucks, many retail outlets don't want anymore. And I didn't know this, but 38% of our food we eat goes in landfills or gets thrown away. So it's a great charity. We were able to, on a conveyor belt, put together, 250 bags of food. I was the peanut butter guy, and the guy next to me had 4 cans of tuna, and that was difficult, so his little brother came and helped. But it really a lot of teamwork. We enjoyed it, my family, and I know I see a lot of members Dharma School members and families who were there yesterday. And so we had a lot of fun, and I think it was 4,600 pounds of food, including pears that we bagged, bread that we put in crates, and again, we were on a conveyor belt, and it felt like really good teamwork, and let's do it again. Thanks.
Wow, a lot of announcements today. Thank you for sharing your announcements with the Sangha. I have one or two. Following the service today, please join everyone for luncheon in the Annex Hall. And it's being hosted by the BWA. So the BWA invites everyone to join for lunch after the service and to welcome Reverend Thompson to our temple. Okay. And now at this time, I'd like to call upon our temple president, Kurt Yasuhara, for words of appreciation.
Good morning. Thank you everyone for coming to today's service. It's great to see so many people here. I'd like to start by thanking our officiant, Reverend Smitty and Reverend Sasaki, and thank our guest speaker today, Reverend Thompson, for coming all the way from Denver to speak with us. And she was also here yesterday and delivered a Dharma message, so thank you, Bill, for arranging this. Typically, when we have a guest speaker, we try to get them early and have a Buddhist education session. And if you haven't attended one, I encourage you to do so. It's a great way to have a small conversation and learn and talk. And so I encourage you to come to the Saturdays events that Bill arranges. Moving on, I would like to thank the MAs as well, and Yukari Williams and Arturo and Bill for setting up the Oinaijin. I'd like to thank Ann Ong for playing the organ today, and our tech team, Brevin Honda and Ricky Cheeks. I also like to thank everybody that works downstairs and puts together and maintains the temple and the Dharma School. You know, without the Dharma School, we wouldn't have such a robust program. So all the instructors, thank you every week for putting together a wonderful program. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, Kurt. At this time, Dharma School students, if you come up for Oshoko and offer incense, then you're excused to your, is it class or activity? Class today. Okay, at this time we will continue with the adult portion of the service. And before, let's see. Oh, we'll begin with the recitation of Vandana T. Sarana on page 96, led by Smitty Sensei.
And please join me in all parts, in chanting all parts, whether they're labeled as leader or sangha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So.
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday Reverend Thompson came to San Diego, and she was kept very busy. That's why she says that she's kind of losing her voice. Because in the morning, as Kurt mentioned, we had a BEC sponsored lecture, and for those of you who attended, I'm sure you got a lot out of it. Her topic was women in Buddhism, but her emphasis was on the beginning of women in Buddhism, those who were influential in the life of Shakyamuni Buddha. So that was a very inspirational talk you gave yesterday, Sensei. And then afterwards, she provided the same presentation to the Sangha at the Vista Buddhist Temple. So she had a full day. A little bit more about Reverend Thompson's background. In 2007, Reverend Diana graduated from the University of Colorado in Boulder, earning a degree in religious studies. And she said at the time she didn't know how a recently college graduate would use her college degree. So Reverend Diana said she sought advice from her minister at the Tri-State Temple, Reverend Kanya Okamoto. And she said that Reverend Okamoto suggested that she consider pursuing Buddhism, the Buddhist ministry. So fast forward, Reverend Diana began studying Buddhism, taking classes through the Institute of Buddhist Studies, their correspondence courses, and she received her master's degree from the IBS and the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley in 2012. In 2010, Reverend Thompson received her Tokudo ordination, and later in 2012, her Kyoshi ordination from the Honganji-ha in Kyoto. Reverend Diana has served the Tri-State Temple for 11 years. She took a brief leave of absence and returned to serve as a Kaikyoshi minister at Tri-State in 2023. Once again, I'd like to introduce Reverend Thompson for her adult Dharma message. Sensei.
Everyone, please join me in Darshan. For the sake of all things, I will open the Dharma store and universally bestow its treasure of virtue upon it. Among the multitudes of beings will always preach the Dharma with a lion's roar. Namo Amitabha.
Namo.
Namo Amitabha.
Namo.
Namo Amitabha.
Namo. Namo.
Oh, there we go. I was not on at first. Thank you. So thank you so much to everyone for inviting me to speak here at the San Diego Temple. Again, I apologize. I have no idea what happened to my voice. It cropped up, of course, first thing yesterday morning before I had to go and do 2 seminars, one here and one at Vista. And I know we're near the ocean, so maybe this is a Little Mermaid situation, and it was Ursula the Sea Witch that got my voice. Who knows? But again, I appreciate being here once again. I've come to the temple a few times before to speak and have always very much enjoyed it. And the last time that we brought our kids out for the sunshine trip that Ralph mentioned, they had a beautiful service on the beach. They threw us a whole beach party, and it was just lovely. So this is definitely a coveted speaking spot because San Diego is very beautiful. It's also near my heart. Your former minister, Reverend Kenji Akahoshi, he and I attended school together at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, and we did our ordinations together as well. So Kenji is not only a colleague, but a very dear friend of mine. So the passage that I opened with today is from the Jusei, which we chanted this morning. Now, this particular chant comes from the Larger Sutra, and the Larger Sutra is one of our most important sutras in this tradition. The Larger Sutra is the story of how Amida Buddha came into being, And the Jusege is a reiteration of the 48 great vows made by the Bodhisattva Dharmakara in his desire to become this great enlightened Buddha. Now, in the passage I read, Dharmakara is vowing that all beings will receive the gift of the Dharma, the gift of the truth, and the gift of the teachings in order to be led out of delusion and into awakening. Now, in Buddhism, fairly often we talk about a concept called dana, or selfless giving. When we talk about dana, we say that there are 3 types that are specifically mentioned. The first gift is the gift of material goods that people bring to the monks and nuns at the temples so that they can be sustained on their path. The second gift we talk about is the gift of the Dharma. And this is the gift given by monks, nuns, and priests to the Sangha so that they may hear and enjoy the benefits of the teaching. The third gift of dana is the gift of fearlessness, which is given by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to all beings so that they may go forward without fear towards their awakening. Now, all of these gifts that we have are very important to us, but today I'm going to talk about the second one, which is the gift of the Dharma. Now, as we know, today we are observing the Eshinni and Kakushinni memorial service, which is dedicated to the wife and youngest daughter of our tradition's founder. We come together to remember and honor these women because of their important contributions to the spread of the Dharma. Shinran's wife, Eshinni, was his lifelong companion in the Dharma. Before he left the monastery that he trained at for 20 years, it is said that Shinran had a dream vision. And in this vision, the Bodhisattva of perfect compassion, the Bodhisattva Kannon, came to him in the form of a woman, because Shinran at this time was beginning to wonder whether or not the path of the monk was the path for him. When the Bodhisattva came to him in this dream vision, again, the Bodhisattva appeared as a woman and told Shinran that if he was unable to continue these difficult practices that the monks had to go through, that she would stay with him and guide him and adorn him throughout his life. Now, Eshinni, many letters were written by her, and they were discovered. And in her letters, much later after they had been married, she wrote that she too had had a bit of a dream vision. And in this dream, Shinran appeared, and he was there also as the Bodhisattva Kannon. So in this sense, both of them together found a compassionate guide and partner that would adorn them for their lives. Eshinni, of course, supported Shinran spiritually. She also supported him financially, of course, because she was the one with the land. But she supported him throughout their life together. And also, through these letters that she wrote, we've been able to have a window, a bit of a vision into the life and times of these two Dharma teachers. Eshinni was clearly devout in her religious faith and also very devoted to her husband. The other woman we come to celebrate, of course, is Kakushinni, their youngest daughter. And Kakushinni was also a very devout follower of the Dharma. She was there, as Ralph mentioned, with her father at the moment of his death, and eventually erected a mausoleum in his honor so that all of his followers had a pilgrimage site to go to honor his vision of the Pure Land teachings. And to this day, it is through her bloodline that the heads of our Jodo Shinshu sect have been selected. So both of these women, like so many of the women before them, were engaged in the dana of sharing the Dharma. But also, like many other Buddhist women before them, they have very brief or partially told stories. So the purpose of these kinds of memorial services is to bring forward the stories as much as we possibly can with the limited information that we have, so that we can remember our dear Dharma sisters who worked so hard to spread the Dharma. So today, again, because Eshinni and Kakushinni have very little information about them, I'd like to talk about another woman who was very instrumental in our tradition in spreading the Dharma. She's a bit more contemporary. In fact, I did live with her for a little bit. Her name is Mrs. Jane Imamura. Now, a little bit about Jane. She was born on August 9th in 1920. She was the daughter of Reverend Issei Matsuura and Mrs. Shinobu Matsuura. She grew up in the central coast town of Guadalupe, and her father was the minister of the Guadalupe Buddhist Church. As she grew, she majored in music at UC Berkeley, and in the fall of 1941, she transferred to the Chicago Musical College. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, she returned to Guadalupe, where she witnessed the FBI taking her father from out of the temple. In 1942, she married Reverend Kanmo Imamura, and the Imamuras were relocated to the temporary Tulare Assembly Center before being sent to the Gila River internment camp. They were finally released in March of 1945 and returned to Berkeley in March of 1946. Jane Imamura at the Berkeley Temple created their choir and began composing music for Sunday school services. So even if you look in your service books today, you will see that many of our gathas were written by Mrs. Imamura, including the very popular one, Farewell. Both of the Imamuras were involved with the Berkeley study classes in Buddhism, which they started in October of 1949. The study class turned eventually into the establishment of the BCA Buddhist Study Center at the Berkeley Temple. And eventually this Buddhist Study Center evolved into what we now know as the Institute of Buddhist Studies, where the ministers get their degrees. Each of these study classes tended to be well attended by very diverse groups of students looking to deepen their understanding of Buddhism. Included in this group were many sort of well-known, I don't know how well-known at the time, but definitely well-known today, poets and writers from what we now know as the Beat generation. So they had people that came to their study classes, such as Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, and Gary Snyder. In the introduction to Mrs. Imamura's book, Gary Snyder wrote, "It is no exaggeration to say that the Berkeley Buddhist Church, for almost a decade, served as a center for the girding up and launching of new Buddhist groups and studies all over the Bay Area. Although these new groups in the 60s were generally turned toward the Zen tradition, none of us who got our initial first-hand Buddhist experience with the Imamuras in Berkeley have ever forgotten the importance of Shinran's teaching and the Nimbutsu." Now, as I mentioned, when I was attending the Institute of Buddhist Studies, I did have the pleasure of living with Mrs. Imamura, helping to take care of her at the time. So when I met her, unfortunately, her mind had already slipped into the Pure Land, but I was able to be surrounded by all of this history of the Buddhist Study Center. I was able to read through her books. I was able to see papers. I was able to see early writings of these Beat generation poets and writers. And I was able to see articles written by her husband. Now, one of the most incredible things to me is that even though her mind had indeed slipped into the Pure Land, she never lost her talent for music. So even though she was generally pretty unaware of where she was or even who I was or who her children was, she still liked to come and sit down at the piano where she would play perfectly, never missing a note. So clearly, through all of the writing of the Gathas, this was a very important thing for her, was the music. And it was her way of sharing the Dharma with everyone else. So I will go back to the quote that I opened with today. I'll read it again. "For the sake of all beings, I will open forth the Dharma store and universally bestow its treasure of virtue upon them. Among the multitudes of beings, I will always preach the Dharma with a lion's roar. Now this particular quote again, opening the Dharma store or the Dharma storehouse, is bringing forth the knowledge of truth and life in the sutras. Now it always says in many of the sutras that the Buddha preached this Dharma with a lion's roar, meaning that it was so powerful that it resounded throughout the universe, far-reaching into the 10 quarters. Now, Mrs. Imamura and her husband, Reverend Imamura, worked very hard to bestow these gifts to people, as many as they possibly could. They opened their home and their temple, and in essence, opened the Dharma storehouse for everyone. They had study classes, they had Mrs. Imamura's music, and they helped the Dharma to be taught, again, with this great lion's roar. Now, Mrs. Imamura did have a very soft voice, but even in the state that I met her in, she had a very powerful presence. And it was very clear through all of the memories she had in her house that she truly did open that Dharma storehouse. She passed away in December of 2011, and once again, Gary Snyder wrote something for her. It says, Jane Imamura made everyone, regardless of background or age, feel welcome and wanted. She was also a wonderful personal friend and advisor with a deep knowledge of Buddhist thought and values, and a great spirit of compassion and service. Jane Imamura was a kind of a beacon in my mind, a light to steer by all those years, and I know this was true for many others, not just me. Many thanks to her big spirit and extraordinary life. So again, Mrs. Jane Imamura was one in a long, long line of Buddhist women who worked diligently over the years to ensure that all beings would encounter the Dharma. And just as we are gathered here today to honor Kakushinni and Eshinni for all that they did, we also remember all the women, just like Mrs. Imamura, seen, heard or unheard, seen or unseen, who have opened this Dharma storehouse for us so that we can continue to meet as we do here at the temple to hear the Dharma. Mrs. Imamura's home was a place of refuge. Her temple and Dharma study center that she and her husband built were also places of refuge. Again, she's one of a long line of women devoted to the teaching and making sure that all beings, as Gary Snyder mentioned, regardless of who they were, regardless of gender, ethnicity, status, etc., were welcomed into their homes, welcomed to the Dharma, and as Amida Buddha promises us, welcome into the great realm of enlightenment. So we come together as we do with so many memorial services, not only to say goodbye and to remember people, but we come also to express our great thanks and gratitude to them, because they, like everyone else, are connected to us. And without them, we would not have the things that we have today, the spaces to share the Dharma and the Dharma itself. So thank you all again for attending today's service, and thank you once again for inviting me to speak anytime. I'm happy to do it, and hopefully next time I can stay longer and go visit the ocean. So in closing, please join me in Gassho. For the sake of all beings, I will open forth the Dharma store and universally bestow its treasure of virtue upon them. Among the multitudes of beings, I will always preach the Dharma with a lion's roar. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo.
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 Thank you very much, Reverend Diana, for sharing your Dharma message today with the three gifts, and with emphasis on the gift of the Dharma, and focusing on why we're here today to celebrate the lives of Lady Eshinni, Lady Kakushinni, and thank you for sharing your thoughts on and your acquaintance with Mrs. Imamuda. At this time, will everyone please rise for the singing of the Gatha Ondok-san 2 on page 128. Please remain standing for a closing meditation. Just as rain falls on all vegetation, so Buddhist compassion extends equally to all people. But just as different plants receive particular benefits from same rain, so people of different nature and circumstances are blessed by different methods. Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you. You may be seated. Well, this concludes our tribute to Lady Eshinni and Lady Kakushinni for 2025. And thank you for all attending today's service, and to thank you to Reverend Thompson for traveling from Denver to share the Dharma with us this weekend. Please, everyone, please join us for lunch next door in the annex. And you'll have the opportunity to welcome Reverend Diana and to ask any questions that you may have. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. You're welcome to Oshoko to burn incense as you leave the Hondo. Thank you.
Yes, okay, great. Okay, excellent. Oh. Okay.